Yes. 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 All right, y'all. I'm playing catch up now. I'm playing catch up. The last one we not even going. I checked the whole video out. The last episode, but I have to play catch up, so we're gonna record this one for this episode. But oh boy, this thing's getting spicy with Candace Owens. Y'all might want to watch this one all the way through. And she even brings on this clip here with Judge Joe Brown. Oh man, I can't wait. We're gonna play this clip right here before we get into the video, y'all. Y'all know this clip, man. This is a clip that has got millions, and this whole podcast or this whole video, it's like a hour-long sit down, but it has millions and millions of views of Judge Joe Brown just completely going in on Kamala Harris, man. Check it out.
And she was everybody's favorite Hindu Indian prosecutor and attorney general and senator, and now she becomes black. But, you know, I met her daddy, a fine gentleman, Professor Harris. And the problem with her being black is Professor Harris says he's Caucasian, mixed Irish and Hindu. He doesn't have any black ancestors, but his Irish ancestors owned a lot of slaves in Jamaica and had them to work on plantation. So if mama is on the birth certificate listed as a Caucasian, daddy says he's a Caucasian Hindu and has no black ancestors, how did she get to be black?
Yeah, it's crazy right now, man. But right now, a lot of things are hitting the fan. A lot of research is being done. Shout out to them beautiful patriots around the world. Huge shout out to Candace Owens. Prayers for Candace Owens. Prayers for all you guys, man. My love and prayers goes out to you. Prayers for Trump. It's his team, his campaign, everybody, man. As you know, we are not against a candidate. We are against the machine. You know, they're running on identity politics. You know, she thinks you seen what Hillary was doing in 2016. Hillary said it's working. Me going around with this big bottle of hot sauce in my purse. Hillary said that's how it works. All of a sudden, it's time to be black when it comes to the election. The black vote. I mean, it's ridiculous, man. And y'all know it's one love to the human race. It irks me. Race baiters, race hustlers, they irk me, man. You know? And this is why we're so divided now. You know? It's ridiculous. And I tell Obama, I tell Big Mike, I tell all of them, hands behind your back. You know, the way they did Joe, the way they've handled a lot of things that I can't even mention on camera, or they'll take the video down. They'll come mess with me. I'm telling you, censorship, it's real. Clinton, everybody, Nancy Pelosi, Jack Smith, Big Fanny, we can go down the list. Everybody. You know, they have wiped Donald through the mud. There's banana peels, kangaroos jumping. Hands behind your backs. Everybody. And it's tons of more I didn't even list. But we know the corrupt ones. And some people just collecting a check. We want our tax dollars back. I ain't lying to you. But I got to play catch up, y'all. We're gonna catch up on these next 2 episodes. So I might do 2 Candace videos today. You might see them tonight. But this one is number 76. Who is Kamala's father? That's the title. So we're gonna jump into it, man. This one's gonna get real spicy. Huge shout out to Candace Owens, man. Boy. A lot of y'all have been blowing my email up. Rick, check out the next Candace Owens video. React to it. Please react to it, please. So we're playing catch up right now. And 2 more, and another video, we will be caught up. So let's jump in. I haven't seen this one yet. And make sure y'all hit that like button if you haven't already. It's getting real, baby. Uh-oh. What the? Wait a minute. Okay, there you go. Okay.
Or this has been I predicted. How did I do that?
All right. We ready?
All right, buckle up, boys, because we are headed to World War III, just as I predicted. How did I do that? Either I have a crystal ball and my name is Miss Cleo, call me now, or this has been the most obviously planned war in the history of obviously planned wars. It's actually insulting to me how obvious this is. We're going to get to the Middle East. But first, we have to take a closer look, at Donald J. Harris. After many of you were sending me clips of Judge Joe Brown, this is so random, speaking about how he knew Donald. And yeah, he claims that Donald was not black. All that coming up on Candace.
Okay, this is finna get good, y'all. It's finna get good, man.
So I am totally like a crazy person obsessed with this investigation because there is something so right in front of our face that we are stumbling upon, and this woman now scares me. I'm very scared by somebody who can just put on an entire act about their identity, and I'm very scared about what I'm coming across through all of these files, searching things, these slight name changes, taking on different identities. It seems pretty obvious to me that we are hitting upon some sort of an organized communist cell. You know, yesterday I had asked you guys to please send me anything regarding Alvis Cambridge's marriage to Cynthia Cambridge because I couldn't find anything about it. And somebody did find something. He changed the spelling, or maybe if we're being nice here, the journalist got the spelling of his marriage announcement wrong, but they did find it in the Kingston Gleaner. So I just want to start there because I want to provide that update. Here it is. Alvis Cambridge's marriage announcement in the Kingston Gleaner dated June 30th, 1953. It reads, the wedding of Miss Cynthia Lopez, daughter of Mr. and Mrs. H.A. Lopez of, and it's a little cut off here, but Bushy St. Catherine Parish, it looks like, and Mr. Alvis St. Elmo Cambridge, the son of Mr. and Mrs. U.L. Cambridge. It goes on to state elsewhere that Mr. Beavis Campbell was best man, and Mr. John Strudwick, who I recognize because that would be Carmen's husband. In case you're wondering who Carmen is, that is White Iris's sister because she was the maid of honor in their wedding, and she eventually gets married to somebody with the last name Strudwick. So John Strudwick was in fact the best man here. So this is a very, very close family for him to be the best man. And Raymond Stewart were ushers at the ceremony, which was performed by Reverend J. Leslie McPherson. Now, even of more interest is they also have the exact same wedding song as Iris Cambridge and Oscar Harris. Again, these people seem pretty close-knit, almost a little too close-knit. But I do want to point out there that it says Alvis Cambridge's parents are Mr. and Mrs. U.L. Cambridge. So that is either incorrect or that is an intentional deviation, or rather just not a match, because if we go back and take a look at Iris and Oscar Harris's wedding announcement, if we're going to pull that up. So this is Iris, whatever you want to call her, Cambridge's wedding announcement to Oscar Harris. We can see that the names of the parents are different, just slightly different. We have, what was it, A.L. Cambridge, Mr. and Mrs. I got to find it here, a bouquet by her father. I just don't see it in this little tidbit that you've pulled up, but I'm pretty sure it's A.L. Cambridge. So they have different initials. I know that V.S. Cambridge right there at the top. Mr. and Mrs. V.S. Cambridge versus Mr. and Mrs. U.L. Cambridge. So does that signify to us that they are not related, that they're lying about their parents' names? I could not find a Mr. and Mrs. U.L. Cambridge anywhere in St. Elizabeth Parish in Jamaica at this time. And again, we cannot find Alvis's birth certificate. So this is just another huge question mark. But what we do know for certain is that He was exceedingly close to Iris Cambridge. Everyone who has emailed me, and based on my own research, it looked like they were brother and sister. Now we're wondering maybe they're first cousins. We definitely know that they spent the majority of their lives together. There are so many pictures of Alvis and White Iris hugging all throughout their lives, holding hands, all of this, which was posted under his obituary. Just so many pictures proving that the three of them, his wife Cynthia Lopez, White Iris, and him, were exceedingly close and lived in the Broward County area. Not only that, but they traveled together here to America. They landed in Miami together aboard a ship. Now, I want to show you something that's actually fascinating. So we've already deduced that for whatever reason, they, and by they, I'm referring obviously to Kamala's family, particularly Donald Harris and Kamala herself, are trying to pass off via a sleight of hand White Iris as Black Iris, okay? I'm going to break this down again. I'm going to be real careful here. Black Iris is Iris Finnegan. He claims that Iris Finnegan, Black Iris, is Kamala's great-grandmother. She claims that it's her great-grandmother in her book, and we see no evidence of that aside from this picture, which Donald claims that he shot of Kamala sitting on her lap. I felt that Iris was the help. What we know about Iris Finnegan is that her maiden name is Allen. So she was born Aura Iris Allen Finnegan. Okay. And then she marries allegedly Patrick Finnegan and takes on the Finnegan last name. Okay. White Iris, on the other hand, was born Iris Cambridge and takes on the last name Harris. And she also has a baptismal name named Vioris. So she becomes Iris Cambridge Harris. Well, check this out. Okay. In 1958, Cynthia Cambridge and her now husband, Freemason Alvis Cambridge, arrived on a first-class ship into Miami from Jamaica. And aboard that ship was also Iris F. Harris. Now, pause. What is wrong with this? Pull it back up. What is wrong with this? Her middle initial. Why on earth? Now, it makes sense that Iris and Alves and Alves's wife are all on the ship together coming from Jamaica. They make a stop. The last port they stop at is Nassau, Bahamas, before they arrive into Miami. But why is Iris's middle initial F? She was not born. She was never married into a Finnegan family. Why did she adopt that middle initial? That's huge. It's very strange that she would have done that. Remember, Donald is alleging that Black Iris, the great-grandmother, right, at no point her last name would have been Harris, just Finnegan. She was born Iris Aura Allen, again, just reiterating that, and she became Finnegan when she got married to Patrick Finnegan. So we know that this is not her on board this ship with the Harris last name. We know for a fact that that is our White Iris who married Oscar Harris. But she never had a middle initial F. I think this is the earliest indication that she was taking on the identity of the help. I remain convinced that Miss Iris was in fact the help. I told you guys yesterday that we are trying to locate this older woman who wrote this comment under a YouTube video. It actually wasn't even our YouTube video. It was somebody else that was covering my content. She wrote this, if you want to pull that comment up. I am 76 years old. Years ago, I read an article about Kamala's family of slave owners. Miss Iris was one of the house slaves of Kamala's family. When the slaves got set free, Miss Iris was old and didn't want to leave the family. Miss Iris also had a daughter who was raised in the house with Kamala's family. Kamala's parents worked out of town a lot, so Kamala was basically raised by the Black women that worked in that house. If I remember correct, her mom was a professor in some big universities, and possibly her father held a government job and traveled a lot. I can't remember where the article was, but if you find it, you will have all the proof that you need. So I really would like to pick this woman's brain. I would like to speak to her and see if she can recall where this was published, because that so fits in.
And I think that came from A-Dog's video. Huge shout out to my brother A-Dog, man. Y'all know we show so much love to each other in this community, man. And I love that Candace Owens, you know, it shows love to us as well. That big time people, creators that love our, I'm telling y'all, man, we have such a loving community, man. You know, wow.
into everything that I've been saying. And like I said, part of this was just me exploring my own heritage. I told you my grandfather, obviously, was one of these families after slavery was abolished that opted in North Carolina. His family opted to just stay and continue working as sharecroppers. And so they worked on the same family that had enslaved them, they now worked for. So that makes sense. What that woman posted makes sense, but a YouTube comment is not proof.
Yeah.
I do think seeing Iris F. Finnegan is some early indication. Now, there's even more proof, of course, that at the very least, the bare minimum, Kamala Harris is not black. It isn't just Janet Jackson. Funny who the media picks on and who the media stays away from, because Judge Joe Brown has the credentials. This is a person that they know is intelligent, has had a talk show on TV, I guess you could say a judge show on TV for a very long time. And many of you guys were emailing me clips of him on the show discussing the fact that he knew Kamala's father and that he just simply knows that the family is not black. Take a listen to this first clip before we jump into the second one.
She was everybody's favorite Hindu Indian prosecutor and attorney general and senator, and now she becomes black. But, I met her daddy, fine gentleman, Professor Harris. And the problem with her being black is Professor Harris says he's Caucasian, mixed Irish and Hindu. He doesn't have any black ancestors, but his Irish ancestors owned a lot of slaves in Jamaica and had them to work on plantation. So if mama is on the birth certificate listed as a Caucasian, daddy says he's a Caucasian Hindu and has no black ancestors, how did she get to be black?
The
math is not mathing. How did she become black?
How did she become black? Shout out the judge, man. Shout out the judge, man. I'm telling you. We love that fella there, man.
Okay. It only makes sense if you stole the identity of the help, which is so sick, so twisted, so diabolical, so offensive that we demand a response to this. Like I said, if a single black person is okay with this and votes for her because the media simply decided to make her black, to essentially wave a little Harry Potter wand and go, oh, okay, we just need you to be black because we need those black votes, right? And you're okay with that, you should really re-examine your life. You should deeply, spiritually search within yourself to determine what is wrong with you, that you would allow this sleight of hand to compel you to vote for this woman, despite her horrific record, by the way, of locking up black men. Who is this woman? 2 parents that were committed communists. Who is this woman? And that's not all Judge Joe Brown had to say in the matter of Kamala Harris. Take a listen.
And the birth certificate that she has is interesting because the confusion comes from a mistake. On the birth certificate, it lists the mother's race as Caucasian, national origin India, and religion Hindu. For the father, it does not list national origin. It does not list religion. It does not list anything about that, but where it says race, they put national origin in Jamaica by mistake. Now, if you've ever been to Jamaica and you go over to St. Elizabeth Parish, you see all the high, bright, and white that live in Jamaica. So I've got a good friend retired from law enforcement. He has a white wife, blonde-haired, blue eyes, but she was born in Jamaica. Her parents were born in Jamaica. One's blonde and blue-eyed, the other one's red-haired and gray-eyed. And they happen to be related to the King of England because they are aristocrats in England, but they were born in Jamaica. It's not unusual. You're not black just because you're from Jamaica, and you have a whole lot of white people that never left, and their ancestors owned a lot of slaves. The Maroons went up into the hill country and got themselves free back in the 1840s, but, other than that, it is what it is in Jamaica. So just because you're from that country does not mean you are of the black race. So the problem is why don't you go get your daddy to give you an affidavit that you have a black ancestor? And since the only possible claim you have is through your great-grandmother, who he says was a Hindu house servant, that just happens to be swarthy. Where'd you get your blackness from? See, you're faking it again.
Hindu house servant is what they are alleging that Iris was. And I am telling you, the fact that I just picked up on that in a vibe in a picture, do not tell me women do not have good gut instincts. I was just like, there's just something about the photo. It just wasn't loving. It felt very much like the help who got close with the kids but didn't want to be too close to the kids because, you know, you never know when the mom's going to get upset because you're too close to the kids, kind of a kid situation. You know what I mean? Like, you know what I mean? A lot of this stuff is just common sense, but it's just not that common anymore. People are just like, I cannot believe my own eyes. I need to read the media. And CNN says that she's Jamaican. And then people were just confused. Like, they were literally asking the question, she was in Jamaica. How can you say that she's not black? How can you even ask me this question? Like, where is your common sense? If I up and move to Sweden, I get to suddenly say I'm white? What's wrong with you guys? I mean, this is like common sense. Of course, there are white people in Jamaica. There are white people everywhere. There are white people in Africa. It does not make them black. Elon Musk is not a strong black man. As much as I would love for him to be able to say he's a strong black man to really upset the left, that's just not the circumstance. There's no version of reality that we exist in. And so this is fascinating. This is fascinating because this shows you a tremendous character flaw that we are stumbling upon. And a person that will steal an identity, like I said, a true communist trade. This is what they did. They were the best at it. They always took on different names. They took on different identities. They would style themselves differently. You have to remember that there was this influx of people also that were coming in from Russia. So many of the ills that we have in society today is because we received so many immigrants and there was no correct process of filtration to determine which one of these psychos, you know, amongst these people, how many of these people were the absolute psychos that were mass murdering Christians, okay, like mass murdering Christians leading up and after World War II and throwing us into gulags versus people that were actually escaping for freedom. There was no method. There was no method. There was just an open season of people moving around the world. This is what happens at the end of wars. This is why wars are dangerous. This is why you cannot detach war from various refugees' crises. And what refugees' crises implicate is that people who are bad can slip in through country borders. That is why wars are problematic, and I can't stand the war class that constantly is arguing for more wars, more wars, more wars. We're going to get to that, okay? So by the way, everything he just said makes complete sense if our suspicions are correct, right?
Yeah, then these communists changing their names. These commies are changing their names. Hey, man, it's all coming out now. I like what we can do it, show it to you. Again, shout out to Candace Owens, man. Huge shout out to Candace Owens. Prayers for Candace Owens. I'm telling y'all, the stuff that we is, I'm telling you, man, the stuff that we is talking about, the truth that we is, I'm telling you, people disappear. Salute to all my content creators out there. Salute the independent media out there, man. Salute to you guys sharing and reposting our content, our videos, man. You know, it's corrupt, and we do have to be careful with all this stuff, man, especially being 30 days out of the election. And as you can see, they're asking for more censorship right now, for misinformation, disinformation. You know, for our own rights, man. So thing for freedom of speech. You know, censorship is real, man. But prayers for Candace Owens, prayers for Trump, prayers for you guys and your family, prayers for America, man. We're in some dark times, man. It's crazy. It is crazy, man.
It's Iris Cambridge is Irish. She is. And Oscar Harris is mixed Irish. That would make Donald Harris majority white. So if Kamala has a majority white father and an allegedly fully Indian mother, who I have my suspicions about, but I'm still taking my time to investigate her mother. I know I promised you that would be today, but I just want to dot my I's and cross my T's. Then that would make her indeed Indian Irish, just as Judge Joe Brown recalls. And again, this would be such an easy thing for Donald J. Harris to speak out against. You have two educated people. He'd be like, hey, Judge Joe Brown, what are you talking about? Why are you lying? Do you really think a judge would go on air and say all of those things, risking his reputation, his professional reputation, by just lying boldly? And to what end, by the way? Why would Judge Joe Brown, right? Just, again, common sense. Let's invoke a little bit of common sense here. Why would Judge Joe Brown want to come out and claim that he knew that Donald J. Harris was not black? Why would he come out and claim that Kamala Harris was not black? How does that serve anything? He would want her to be black, right? He would love the idea of the first black female president. This is sick and this is disturbing. But by the way, just speaking of that genealogy, speaking of the very likely conclusion that she is majority Irish, that Donald J. Harris is majority Irish, it would also explain why the aforementioned Chris Harris, who signed off on Oscar Harris's death certificate as his son, that's him. These people look like Kamala's relatives. This would be Donald J. Harris's brother, who he intentionally chose not to mention in his piece, probably because, we're trying to make everybody think that Kamala is black. We need the help. We don't need the actual relatives. And this would be an actual relative. That man is extremely light. That man looks like he could be majority white, just as all of the documentation that we have is pointing to. That man would be the son of Iris Harris, who stole that middle initial for whatever reason and became Iris F. Harris on a ship manifest. And speaking of Donald Harris, by the way, I brought this up to you yesterday. What little we can find about him points to the fact that he may have been involved in drama and theater. We were able to confirm him as a student at the Titchfield Secondary School. So that would be like the equivalent to a high school here. This is an article that we found from June of 1955, and you can see highlighted, that Donald Harris is listed under boys under 19. So in 1955, he would have been 17 years old, and you can see that he's listed under a Festival of Arts concert, big event. And then we found another article from 1960, and I think this could be Donald Harris because we haven't been able to find any other Donald Harrises in Jamaica around this time, but he's again in a play. I couldn't read it too close. It looks like it's called Terminus there on the left-hand side. He's playing one of the attendants in the play that has this scene that's at the portal of death. It says that they are performing the last rites and that the play was written by a 20-year-old named Dennis Scott. So what are we to conclude from all of this? The reason why I'm bringing up the fact that he may be in the arts is because this was a focus for a lot of communists, like being able to sell yourself. It is something that I have brought up on the show many times. If you begin to look into the history of a lot of these world leaders who look to me like D-list actors, who behave like D-list actors. Don't even get me started on Zelensky constantly wearing military fatigues because he's trying to sell to us that he just needs more and more money and he's really down in the trenches, while we hear rumors that his wife is on shopping sprees in Paris. Don't get me started on the fact that it is true that Zelensky was an actor, a well-known actor. He played the role, okay? President Zelensky played the role of a president on a TV show before he actually became the president of Ukraine. Are we joking? Are we joking? I have to ask that question. Yes, he was in the arts. There's photos of him dressed up in latex and dancing, and it's all very a lot. It's all very a lot, my friends. That's all I'll say about that. You have Justin Trudeau. You have Emmanuel Macron. How he met his husband was in drama. He was in the drama class of Brigitte Macron. And so I just don't like when I start to see people who I believe are dedicated communists, who I can trace back to a history of theater. Again, we don't have a confirmation that that's definitively him, but I would say all the signs point to yes. And we are continuing to investigate him and his relationship with Shyamala Goblin, because I believe that a lot of these marriages at this time, and again, this is a theory not yet proven, were just arranged marriages to get papers. That they had a goal of getting papers, they had a way of getting papers. Sometimes it was simply to have a child get papers, to have anchor babies that could get papers.
You see what they're doing? It's very popular now. That's the main mission now. Yeah. Yeah, everybody's running the scam now. Everybody's running the deal now. Everybody, their grandma, auntie, stepsister-in-law, cousin-in-law, nephew and them, auntie, Gloria, brother Jermaine, You know, I'm just being real now. Y'all be laughing and giggling, but hey, it's all coming out. Y'all be laughing and giggling. It's so funny. You know. But we know she was shaking that vinegar on that chicken. She wasn't shaking that pop. She wasn't, I'm telling you, she wasn't shaking that hot sauce. You know. Hillary thought it was gonna work. I'm just saying. Hillary thought it was gonna work. Shaking that hot sauce everywhere, carrying around that big ball of hot sauce in that purse for the black vote. Hillary thought it was gonna work. Someone got to tell Kamala, Chameleon, it ain't gonna work. Sorry.
Whatever the system was, it appears to me that we should be taking a close look at what was motivating all of these marriages and these marriage announcements. I can't find these marriage certificates, but I can always find a marriage announcement. Even that, to me, feels somewhat suspicious. So we are definitely going to continue to investigate that. Those are just the updates that I have for you today. We're going to take a pause there. Thank one of...
Well, boy. This thing's getting spicy now. We got to play catch up, y'all. We catching up now. So come to the next one. We catching up, and it's getting real. I'm so glad that y'all done bought Judge. I'm so happy, man. You know, because we covered that whole segment with Judge Joe Brown, man. Oh man, they want Hillary walked around with that big old bottle of hot sauce. Unbelievable. You know, they always talk about fried chicken, hot sauce, watermelon. You know, yeah, man. We got a lot of stereotypes, you know. But I mean, we do love watermelon and hot sauce and rap music and chicken and you know. But one love to the human race, though, man. I don't care what your skin color is. One love to the human race, man. I just don't get why we can't be real, man. You know. But when it comes down to the election time, it's nothing but fakes and frauds and boy, I tell you, man, it's corrupt, man. The corrupt scam matrix, the corrupt scam, and people believe in it too. People believe in the system that's killing them. People believe in the system that does not care for them. Billions to illegals in Ukraine. But we the people dying, struggling. Animals have just drowned. People's lives devastated. People have died. Dying as I'm speaking right now. You know? But on the street, veterans, homeless. But what they get, everything: food, healthcare, housing, luxury hotels. But you know, America isn't America anymore, y'all. And this is why I say prayers for America, man. We need common sense back. We need a change of leadership. You know? And it's sad that they're running off identity politics. We have to hear that all the way to November 5th. You know, and there are people that are part of the problem that we have now. And why we're so divided, why we have no common sense, why there's failed policy. We don't want wars. We want peace. And you get that with Trump. And like we tell them all, hands behind your back. What about January 6th? Somebody catch Nancy with them box wines. Somebody catch Nancy with she tell her, and she drinking more than just wine. Oh, she's drinking a whole bunch of stuff. She's mixing the clear with the dark. Breathe in this walkie-talkie. Hands behind. Blow. Did you blow in this walkie-talkie, ma'am? Oh, ma'am, you've had a lot to drink tonight. Hands behind you're back. And don't worry, it's a lot of them that need to put their hands behind their back. A whole bunch of them. Yeah, a whole bunch of them. I'm gonna catch y'all on the next one, man. We gotta go catch up. We're playing catch up right now, okay? So let me stop all this talking and yapping. I hope y'all enjoyed the show. I love y'all, man. Oh man, this is getting good.